This is the Freedom Ring.
Good morning, y'all. Or whatever time of day they're viewing this.
Be nice now.
I will. It's National Common Courtesy Day. Have to be nice.
I love you, man.
Did you have a good weekend?
I sure did. It's wonderful.
A lot of stuff coming at us. This is the first weekend that we've had since launching the show last week. And, man, the amount of story, we were in constant contact over the weekend going, we got to funnel this down because we can go on for 9 days with how much stuff is being unleashed right now. If you have an email for us, freedomringshow@gmail.com. I bring that up because somebody emailed over the weekend asking why the sudden shift from two guys who spend so much time in rock radio. And
that's a long story.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be. Yeah.
There's a couple of different reasons.
Well, you go first.
I guess this is just a result of me just getting older, but nothing in terms of new rock excites me anymore. And after being overcome with the feeling of evil after everyone was expected to fall in line with the that thing.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah.
And the company that I was working for mandated it. I unfortunately walked away from my 28-year career in radio, doing everything that I loved, but it just didn't feel right. You know, you can't convince me that all of a sudden it makes sense to go back into the workplace. You've got to have this man-made thing injected into you, and I'm like, no.
Yeah,
we didn't need it for forever. We didn't need it.
Yeah,
and now all of a sudden, I'm expected to just say yes to it. Well, where's the data? We have no data. Where is the brochure saying everything's fine with it? Well, we don't have that. That's been sealed for 75 years.
Well, what's exactly in it?
Well, we don't have that either. You're just supposed to take it. And
take it and shut up.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, no, that doesn't feel right.
No.
So after conversations with my doctor and my priest, I walked away from the thing that I love, besides my wife and kids the most, is what I did for a living. And
well, like I told you, though, you know what? God saw you do that. It was all faith-based. You trust God to provide for you. And he saw what you did.
And the way he introduced me to you, the way Bill and I came to get to know each other was, I'm not going to say anything's coincidence anymore.
No, I don't believe it.
It was planned, and I think I was exposed to corporate radio for a really long time for multiple reasons. And I choose now to use this microphone in my face for something that I consider a little bit more important, exposing people to stories that aren't being covered by the mainstream media, and more importantly, to bring people closer to God and getting God back in your life and just being a good person. There's so much evil in the headlines today. It's just it'll make your stomach turn.
Yeah.
And it's not the way it's supposed to be.
This whole thing has really grown my faith, too. I've always been not always, but I mean, I was a Christian starting in my early 20s, I believe, and I've seen the world. And, you know, at one time I was very active in church and everything, and then things, you know, it's one thing after another, you kind of backslide or whatever. But this has really woken me back up. Hey, it's
You're woke?
The great awakening, right?
You're woke?
No, I'm not that. No. I'll kill you.
Wait, I thought that's the reason we got along is because you weren't woke.
Yeah, I mean, like Trump says, everything that goes woke turns to shit.
Exactly.
Did I really say that? We're not on the air, right?
You can say it here. We're not going out of our way, though, to be potty mouths and stuff. It slips, but we're just two regular guys that believe in doing the right thing. And this feels right. Feels right for right now, anyway. Especially.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway, let's dive into some of the stories that came across our desk over the weekend. Anyway, there's a website as known as Issues and Insights. This is not being reported anywhere. It's a website known as Issues and Insights, reporting that Google has attacked one of its articles and tried to censor it for no other reason other than it doesn't like the facts being reported. The site officials said they noticed the problem because Google's AdSense ad network had been withdrawn from an article. Quote, what was the violation according to Google? The article contained unreliable and harmful information. What does that mean? The site asked, citing the online giant's demands that forbid content that makes claims that are demonstrably false and could significantly undermine participation or trust in an electoral or democratic process. But this new article wasn't about climate change or any of the other... we're going to go on YouTube with this one? Because if we go on YouTube, I'm going to have to verbally edit. Have we decided that yet?
Well, since Google owns YouTube, like we're screwed anyway.
Okay. All right. Well,
we'll just chance it. We'll just chance it.
All right. Since this new article wasn't about climate change, COVID, the election fraud, or anything like that, it wasn't even about the January 6th riots. It wasn't about anything controversial. It was an article about the results of our own monthly INI tip poll. Okay? They held a poll on their website, and that was taken down. The poll asked registered voters, who do you want to see run for president in 2024? We broke out the findings by participation, by party affiliation. I can't talk this morning.
You're doing good, man. It's Monday.
We broke out the findings by party affiliation and reported on the results, which were that while 60% of Republicans wanted Donald Trump to run in 2024, a mere 37% of Democrats wanted President Biden to be on the ticket. It worked with TIP, a highly regarded polling firm that has been the most accurate in every presidential election since it started doing the polling. Okay? The leftists running Google might not understand this, but poll results like that are what we in the news business call news. And reporting on news is what journalists do. We're supposed to anyway. The article even includes a chart showing details of the results of this poll, letting Google's content police see for themselves that our reporting was accurate. It appealed to Google, which rejected the request. Quote, the only conclusion we can draw is that Google is now attacking content for no other reason that it doesn't like the facts being reported. By stripping ads from this article, Google is not only unfairly costing us money, it's sending a message that if we want to work with AdSense, we have to kowtow to their leftist standards. How many sites that depend more heavily on Google for revenue will start to think twice about offending the liberal Google ads, or the Google gods, I should say. So it was just a poll looking down the road. They weren't reporting on anything happening now or trying to change a story that was past tense. They're just asking people, hey, as we move forward, who are you looking to vote for in 2024? They didn't like the results of that and took that down.
Yep. Censorship.
What the hell?
Yeah. If they don't like the outcome, they've got the power, and that's the reason that we...
That's got to scare you.
It scares the hell out of me, but I mean, we're beyond it now. Hopefully there'll be more sites like Truth Social that's hopefully going to have their Android and their website version released soon. I think folks are going to be flocking to that social media, and I hope that they do eventually have... I know they're supposedly working with Rumble.
Now, you're not even using Google for your search engine, right?
No, I don't at all.
You found a few others?
I don't at all. I found one called mystartpage.com, and you can actually put that in your browser settings so that when you open up your browser, it just defaults to mystartpage.com, which is not supposed to be censored at all. And then another one that actually I've switched to since using my start page. I thought, well, I'll try out the Brave search engine.
BRAVE.
Yeah, and Brave also is known to be, they have their own browser as well that's built on the Google engine, I believe, but theirs is not censored. So you might check that out too. The Brave search engine and the Brave browser. Both good.
And recently I was using DuckDuckGo, but we're finding out they might be compromised as well.
Yeah, they've been caught censoring as well. They sure have.
All right, Brave.
And I use them I probably used them for 3-4 years. My son told me about them a long time ago. And so I switched, but that's kind
of the reason I switched over from mainstream news over to Newsmax. But now I'm noticing Newsmax isn't digging as deep as I would like either. There's a bunch of stories we're finding that, for instance, what was it, a week and a half ago, the whole Hunter Biden computer thing, which we'll get to in a little bit, started leaking. And then Fox News, specifically Tucker Carlson, was saying, well, that story was so far-fetched that we just chalked it up as a conspiracy theory. Then they had enough proof come out to where they had to, about a little less than a week ago, actually acknowledge that it was a legit story and had to start reporting on it. And I don't know, I've kind of walked away from Newsmax. Maybe I'll go back tonight and see if they're warming up to some of these stories, but I don't know. I was a little let down with Newsmax recently.
Yeah, OAN is probably a good one, or one of the few good ones out there.
But aren't they being taken down everywhere?
Yeah, they're having
Trump
issues.
Was talking about that.
Yeah, they're having issues with Dish. AT&T owns Dish, I believe, and they don't want them on it anymore.
So that right there should scare you, that you're not even being allowed to go to your own news, the news sources you are more comfortable with, to weigh it out yourself. The fact that they won't even allow you to do that, or don't want to allow you to do that.
That's where we are in this country right now.
And if that doesn't have you looking at stories, and I look at mainstream media, but if I'm forced to actually see it, because I don't watch it, by choice, but if someone has it on in the other room, flip it. Whatever they're saying, just flip it. And that's usually, lately, what's coming out to be the truth.
Yeah, 180. That's me too. But I've gotten, I pulled the plug probably, I'm going to say 3 to 4 years ago. And I seek out news from truthers and other sources online that I trust. And I won't go back. I kind of feel, that the mainstream media, I get a sense of evil, man. Yeah. If I turn it on, I just don't want to be. I'm God-fearing, and I don't want to be around it. I just run from it anymore. I don't want to hear any of it. But I still get a pile, being in radio, I still get a pile of stuff via email that I have to go through. Some of the stuff here and there is interesting, but
some is far-fetched. And I want to bring up some stories, future shows that he finds very interesting that I find kind of whacked. Just so you... and you and I have already had this conversation.
Yeah, we have.
And there's things that he's into that I'm not. I'm not on board yet.
And it's not even that I'm into it. It's just...
Or you're open to it.
Yeah, I'm open to it because when you're being lied to for 5 freaking years...
Right.
After a while, after 5 or 6... Actually going into the 6th year now... you just kind of like, okay, we're all seeking truth, right? We're trying to find out what the heck is going on.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
And you can't find out. Nobody knows for sure what's going on. So you search and you try to, for me, when I read something that makes sense, I just put it in the back of my head and I just put it back there in case I need it again, but I don't necessarily disbelieve or believe it.
Somebody just texted us the music's too loud.
Okay. Well, when you talk, I kind of crank it up.
Are you trying to bury me?
Sorry about that, man.
Anyway, this next story isn't going to make you feel any better about anything, but it's out there. Edward Dowd, this is according to Natural News. He is an investment advisor. He used to work for BlackRock. and said in a recent interview that Pfizer colluded with the FDA to hide unfavorable clinical trial data showing that Pfizer and their coronavirus vaccine is not safe and effective. As the truth comes out, investors are pulling out of COVID's the job manufacturer stocks, which include not just Pfizer, but also Moderna and others, from 2002 to 2012. Just to give you a background into his expertise on the subject, he grew BlackRock's growth strategy from $2 billion to $14 billion. The guy knows his shuffleboard here. He proceeded to explain how his initial concerns about taking the experimental injections himself led him down a research path that uncovered fraud, major fraud and corruption. Quote, I learned from a friend in the biotech industry that Pfizer had failed its all-cause mortality endpoint in the initial trial. All-cause mortality is the gold standard in any drug trial at the FDA, and when you fail that endpoint, the drug is not approved. When Big Pharma and the FDA both expressed unwillingness to release any safety data for the injections, which is why when the company I was working for just said, you got to get it to keep your job, and I'm like, okay, based on what? That info has never been provided. That was what they sealed for 75 years. That wasn't a big ding, 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 ding to everybody that's not legit.
I know. Use your critical thinking. I mean, you don't even have to use critical thinking. Just open your brain a little bit and listen to what they're saying, and you can put two and two together, right?
So when they wouldn't release the information, he grew even more skeptical about them, which compelled him to come out publicly to reveal his discoveries. Quote, I got louder about fraud and when the FDA decided to hide the clinical data for 75 years. I'm an investor, so let me just say how I think about the world. I don't wait for people to tell me what just happened. My job is to come up with analysis, mosaic, and investment thesis, and then over time I'd be proven right. So I don't wait for the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and Washington Post to tell me anything, because by the time that happens, the opportunity to make money is lost. So I started screaming fraud as soon as I saw that, because it's unprecedented to hide data from the public. Neither the mainstream media nor the government, Dowd said, are going to save anyone from what is currently unfolding. The truth is being revealed at breakneck speed, and soon it'll be impossible for those who committed crimes against humanity to hide any longer from the consequences. Again, where'd you hear that story this weekend?
You didn't, probably.
You didn't.
Well, I've got this one. Family enraged after their newborn receives a vaccination against their wishes. Now, while this wasn't a COVID vaccination, it was for hepatitis B. Catherine McHutchison gave birth to her baby boy on the 8th of February at Lake Norman Regional Medical Center via a scheduled C-section. However, the unsanctioned hepatitis B vaccination was given to her daughter and, of course, blew their minds, her husband and her 6-year-old daughter. You know, can you imagine? You're looking forward to the birth of this new baby, and it's all spoiled by something so terrible. That somebody step.
Who? I don't even know what to say to that. Having 2 children of my own. Oh, we took it upon our own.
I know.
To inject your kid with something that you may have been against, doesn't matter. We just stepped in front of you.
She says it was something that we had spoken about for various reasons. It was something that was spoken about to my OB. And it was expressed that morning to the hospital and the nurse there. Let's see, after I had the C-section, while still heavily medicated, a nurse came in and she was apologizing on behalf of the nurse she was training. A hospital document shows her baby was given the hepatitis B vaccination despite never verifying the parental consent form. It also shows the vaccination order was never even entered into the system.
Oh, my God.
After reaching out to Lake Norman Regional Medical Center, after she left, she says she received an apology letter. It says, due to human oversight, your refusal for the vaccination was not reviewed prior to administering the medication.
Major lawsuits, right?
Exactly. That was the first thing I was thinking. Corrective actions were taken with the involved team members. Additionally, we reviewed this process, explored ways to amend the consenting process to eliminate confusion, and used this issue as a highlighted safety moment with our team members. Who cares? I mean, hello? You just gave my baby a vax against my wishes. And like you said, the only word that I could think of was lawsuit. It's terrible.
I wonder what they're going to rename the new hospital once they own it.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my God. Let's see. Redstate.com is where I got this one from. The People's Convoy has been camped out near Washington, D.C. This is, the convoy isn't getting any coverage. I think the Canadian convoy got more coverage than here in the United States. You're not hearing anything about this, are you?
Nothing. Even on some of the truth news, I'm not hearing enough of it.
People's Convoy has been camped out near Washington, D.C. and periodically circling the Beltway in protests. They've had small contingents venture into D.C., but they're conscious of not getting into any issues. They're basically level-headed people. They're purposely not getting into any issues with anybody with the very liberal establishment there that would paint them so negatively. So they're holding their own. They're thinking. But this is more proof that liberals don't think things through. As this story continues, on Friday they were confronted by two extreme characters. And the way they responded tells you everything about the opposite sides of this debate. The people that believe in persevering liberty, they're preserving. Again, man, Monday. Let me take this coffee. I'm sorry. I'm sitting there talking about. I'm inventing a new language here. The people that believe in preserving liberty versus the folks on the left who demand that you comply with government dictates and what they want. The First Lady doesn't want to have a conversation about the issues. And by the way, you can find these videos online. The redstate.com actually has them for you. She just wants to scream F off. That's all she says. For the video is about 40 minutes long that I saw, and she said nothing else but F off. Okay? She can't constructively present any ideas or discussion. And the response, they say, notice the response to her screaming is polite. They invite her to have a discussion, but she won't do it. They don't have anything for open dialogue. There is no give and take with the conversation. It's you lean that way, F off.
Yeah.
I want you canceled. I don't want your thoughts to be heard. F off. Wait, what? Can't we just meet halfway? F off.
It's as if their brains have been programmed, which is why I always say it's good and evil. You know?
Yep.
It's just good and evil.
There's another one that happened Saturday when people on the left were touting the actions of a bicyclist for supposedly slowing down the convoy, as though they were somehow doing some great thing against the convoy. Ha-ha! Check her out. She's on her 10-speed in front of all these semi-trucks, and she's preventing them from going any faster than they already are. Well, part of the convoy's purpose, again, the left don't think things through. Part of the convoy's purpose is to slow roll traffic for the attention, so the bicyclist is in reality helping with their cause. The other ironic aspect is that this was posted by Shutdown DC, the leftist group that has been involved in a variety of radical protests pledging to shut down the city. So it's funny that they have issues with the actual peaceful protests in DC. Here's a peaceful one that they're supposed to be all about. Coexist. You've seen the bumper stickers on the rear of our cars. Coexist. And then you actually try to coexist, and they have nothing but F off in exchange. But the prize for the extended leftist meltdown has to go to this other guy. He was wearing a mask outdoors which does nothing to protect against the virus. Yet he's
come on, man. Yeah, it does. Come on.
He's convinced that virtue signaling is correct. Again, swearing "F you, you bunch of whiny racist babies," while whining himself, screaming profanity like an angry 8-year-old.
Have you ever wondered how many of these people were just paid to be there and accept no other answer but what they give? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't put it past the left to have arranged that.
Yeah. I mean, when you're working,
thinking that's what's behind the January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
All the people that were creating mayhem there, dressed up like Trump people. Nah.
Well,
I'm not buying it.
When you're working, you're going to do what the boss says, right, for that paycheck.
Well, when we heard afterward that Donald Trump had offered Nancy Pelosi, I don't know how many, a couple thousand maybe. I don't have the exact number of National Guard because they were worried about security. Okay, well, I'll get the National Guard if you were. And then she said, no.
Yeah.
No. What would that do? That would ruin whatever she had planned to happen.
Exactly.
That's how I'm reading it.
Oh, yeah.
Again, that's just my opinion. I have nothing to back that up. But basic street smarts tells me, okay, the president offered security because you were worried about something like this happening, and you turned it down? Come on!
Because it would foil their plan, you know?
But this is what the media and the government have done with the virus. They have taken people and tribalized them like this. Doesn't matter what the facts are. The left now has flipped on a dime, and the very people they praised a year ago as essential, the truckers, people in the medical industry, they now believe are somehow racist and evil because the media and Democrats have painted them so.
Well, we are on the freedomringshow.com, ClassXradio.com. Catch us on Rumble, Bitchute now. And Facebook, you can like us at the Freedom Ring. And emails, freedomringshow@gmail.com.
Getting back to the person that emailed over the weekend asking why two guys in rock suddenly made the sudden shift. These stories are a little bit more important than, hey, Metallica, though I love Metallica. Metallica just announced new concert dates. Anyone that... This is something I have a problem with commercial radio now, or corporate rock radio. The days of, hey, tune in Thursday at 10 for a major concert announcement, those days are done because any member of that band's fan club that wants those dates, they already have them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is no... That excitement's been blown away, too.
Yeah.
So that's why I making the leap to doing this.
And we're talking about the future of our country, the future of our families. Everything that we know is at stake here. And it's time that not just us, but a lot of, frankly, everybody needs to get involved in efforts to save this country.
And plus, if we can, just by conversation, have you a little bit more open. Some of the stories I'm sure will pan out to be BS. We haven't seen any yet. There's a stack of stories that were deemed conspiracy theories that have just come true.
Yeah.
If you're paying attention to anything that was thrown at Donald Trump while he was president, that's all you really need to see. But I don't know. The feeling of just evil in the world being reported. If we can get people back to God, and again, I'll keep saying this, he and I are not holy rollers. We're not Bible thumpers. We're not preachers, pastors, or priests. We're not qualified for any of that. But if we could inspire people to just do good and be cool to each other, that's like 90% of what God wants us to do. And I think there's more worth in saying that right there than anything that I said in the last 28 years in rock radio. Even though it was fun and I got to display my jackass sense of humor that used to get me thrown out of class in high school. Pretty proud of that, by the way. I skipped college and found a way to make a really nice career out of what got me kicked out of class for free. This makes me a genius, doesn't it?
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. What do you got?
VAERS data. When was the last time that...
Hold on, I was swallowing coffee. You just said that and I almost wanted to laugh. VAERS data.
When was the last time that you heard of a 7-year-old having a heart attack? I mean, I'm sure it happens.
Oh, it used to happen all the time. Track and field stars? No, never.
I don't think in my whole life I've never heard of a child, somebody that young having a heart attack.
No.
Well, it happened. In fact, not only did they have a heart attack, but they died of cardiac arrest 13 days after the Pfizer
jab
thing. Yeah.
Well, if this one's not going on YouTube, we might as well just say it. We've already decided this one ain't going there. We'll find it on Rumble, but no, not there.
Well, the CDC released the updated VAERS data for the COVID-19 jabs from 12/14/2020 to March the 4th this year. And in the updated report, VAERS data shows 1,168,894 adverse events following the COVID-19 injection, and that so makes me want to run out and just get maybe 3 or 4 of them.
Right, yeah.
It's only 1.1 million, almost 1.2 million. Well, it's safe, right?
Well, that's according to the VAERS report.
Yeah.
So haven't we heard that whatever you hear from VAERS can almost be like quintupled?
10, 20, 30 times higher, yeah.
Don't know the exact number, but we are hearing that whatever you get from VAERS is like way down here. The real number is way up here.
Because so many don't report to it.
Right.
Many doctors, I believe, allegedly are told not to report to it. It's too much trouble, too much time. It's time-consuming.
Accuracy is too much trouble?
Well, you got to spend 5-10 minutes inputting all the data, and they got better things to do,
right.
I guess,
Right.
The most recent death for the 5 to 11-year-old age bracket occurred in a 7-year-old boy from Washington who died 13 days after receiving his first dose of the Pfizer. He went into shock, suffered cardiac arrest.
I told you about a former friend, and I shouldn't say former friend, a friend of mine from my high school days, junior high school days. She had breast cancer, and she was in remission for a nice significant amount of time, and as soon as she got jabbed, it came back on like gangbusters. And they said in I think it was the first stack of information that was unleashed from the info. Remember the info that was sealed for 75 years?
Yeah, that's now coming out.
Right. It was in that first batch of information that came out that it'll re-trigger if you're like you got cancer and you're in remission. It'll re-trigger it. Sure enough, and unfortunately, we lost her last week
because it's allegedly whacking your immune system, and you don't have the protection that you had. And I also read something about how it is killing the T cells.
There's nothing good about it from what I'm reading.
No.
According to Red Voice Media, now that Joe Biden has been president for over a year, the New York Times decided to admit that Hunter Biden's laptop story that was claimed to be Russian propaganda was in fact authentic. Not only was the laptop real, but the narrative to cover it up and label it as a pawn from Russia was a complete fabrication. Even more interesting is during the push to discredit the story, the man behind the laptop, Hunter, was spending his time conversing with naked hookers about who might have stolen another computer and what exactly was on it. In the video, which I saw over the weekend, he's sitting there naked with a hooker, also naked. It looked like they were passing the crack pipe together. His back is towards you, but just by what you can hear, you can like see his left shoulder reach over and hand her something. And then while he's talking, it sounds like she's lighting something. So, not steeped in the consumption of crack, I'm proud to say. He explained to the escort that his father was running for president at the time and how he makes $1 gazillion. Apparently, there was more on the laptop than business dealing and crazy sexual exploits. As Hunter liked recording his conversations, in the video, he explained how he and his father, the current president, are tied to a criminal case and a $4 billion liquid natural gas deal. Having a great deal of information on the Biden family, Hunter's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, sat down with Tucker Carlson to discuss the former dealings with the family, currently residing in the White House. Not all that shocking, as can be seen in this video. Bobulinski noted how Biden said he did not know about Hunter's business operation. Still, both he and Hunter confirmed that President Biden was very much aware of what was going on. So how's this going to play out?
Well, let's see what they do with it. Let's see how much of it comes to light.
Better all of it.
Yeah.
God. Again, things left and there's so many stories we weren't even able to cover today. I mean, we're not done yet, but...
So, Hillary Clinton, what did she say when she was asked if she'll run for president again in 2024? What do you think? You think she's going to jump on that?
No.
Yeah, that's what she says.
Will she be available to even run?
Well, perhaps from Gitmo, maybe.
Will she be in jail?
Hopefully. She said no. That's her response. She was speaking with MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski. She downplayed the rumors that she might seek the White House in the next cycle. Her response, no, but I'm certainly going to be active in supporting women running for office and other candidates who I think should be reelected or elected, both women and men. But remember, this is what I've learned in the last 5 years. Just remember, yes means no, and reverse everything they say for the truth or somewhere near the truth.
Well, that's being pointed out now with the Russia. Everything they accused Trump of, she was actually doing.
Yep.
It's just one of many. I mean, we could sit here for a half hour going down the list, which I still want to put together.
Yeah, someone responded on Rumble. Hopefully they'll come through with that list of conspiracies that have come true.
Good. I would love to see it. Leah Thomas, the UPenn swimmer formerly known as William Thomas, who once ranked 775th on the men's team in the 500 in the 500 free, has won the NCAA Women's Swimming Championship, which shocks everybody. Didn't see this one coming. Women who are born women have a problem with this, but some, like X22 report, are suggesting the deep state are trying to replace all women with men, remove women from the workplace, sports, and bring them back 200 years. Again, this is what X22 report is reporting and suggesting they're trying to do. This is nothing that Bill and I are a fan of. I'm actually kind of happy with where women are.
Me too.
Don't have a problem with that at all. I just want the right people that are qualified, be it black, white, whatever your gender is, don't care. The people most qualified for a position should get it.
It's not about race or gender. You're right. 100%.
Nothing.
No.
He's saying they're trying to bring him back 200 years, and he has a point, as he mentioned, someone put on Twitter, Woman of the Year is a man, which, right? Who's it's the lady with the...
What's her name? Rachel Levine or something like that?
Department of Health.
Oh, my God.
So your Woman of the Year is a man. The best woman swimmer is a man. Where are the women, he asks. Yet Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce, which you would think would be behind this whole... No, he's coming out against them, completely against this, saying, quote, I don't see how you can be happy beating other girls under these circumstances. You have to have a sense of personal responsibility. Then he asked what would happen if losing athletes started competing in Special Olympics after simply identifying as a Special Olympian athlete. Like if I wasn't able to, I wasn't quick enough at the 100-yard dash, but I could beat a bunch of people with Down syndrome, and I just identified as a special athlete so I could get that trophy. How twisted is that? How wrong is that?
It's so messed up. Why would anybody want to do that?
And he goes on to say that this is all being brought on to normalize pedophilia. When I first heard about this Leah Thomas, I was asking, is this the result of the participation trophy generation? to where this younger generation, Generation Zs, is that what they would be identified as?
I think so, yeah.
They've been raised their entire life to think they're equal, and they haven't learned to lose. They haven't learned that you're not the best. You're not as good.
They haven't learned how to earn it.
Earn it or accept defeat.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things that as you went on as a little kid back in our day, you realize, oh, you know what? I'm not good enough to be the quarterback. I'm a badass when it comes to being the running back. Maybe I'll concentrate on doing that. And then you realize somebody else has a better opportunity at excelling at defensive line, whatever the case might be. You realize that you're not cut out for everything. Is that the result of this guy who is now a chick? And actually, not even a chick. He's just tucking. Isn't he just tucking his junk and growing his hair long and throwing on a lady's swimsuit? I don't think he's done any procedures.
I don't think so, but I'm not positive.
Because somebody showed a picture of his nether regions and it's still there, man. He's just doing the tuck thing. And if this guy, as a younger kid, was taught, hey, man, it's okay that you're not number one all the time. Am I onto something to at least consider that it's the participation trophy generation that maybe that didn't help him? I
think you're onto something. And what about organically, how do you discover what your gifts and your passions are?
By failing.
By failing, exactly.
You have to learn to lose. No one's going to call you a loser.
Yeah. In your imagination, you know.
Actually, back in the day they did, but it toughened you up, man. It was it built character.
It did. I don't know, man. I feel sorry for the parents of today and the children of today, and I hope that parents are teaching their kids what is real, you know. Well, I mean, have you talked to your kids about this? Discussed this kind of, you know, what's going on?
This particular story, or just
in general?
Yeah. I mean,
and how do they react?
They're looking at this story and just shaking their head. I mean,
thank God.
Yeah, there are kids out there that aren't on board with, oh, okay, well, if I can't win as a guy, I'll just become a chick and just dominate. No.
You'd be so proud of yourself.
No, I mean, they don't even grasp onto that. They just scratch their heads going, huh? Well, it stands to reason why he's dominating, because males are built different. I mean, there's certain things that men can do that women can't, and vice versa, and it should be that way.
It was designed that way.
It's the way God meant it to be.
Yes.
I don't ever want to experience childbirth. I worship women for being able to do that, and yeah, that's why men drink, is because women can give birth to children. Oh my God, you just see that? In fact, my mom told me when we were born, or at least when I was born, my dad was at the bar across the street. You know, I think one of my brothers was born. He nearly passed out, and then when I came along, he just said, "Call me when it's done. I'll be across the street." And then came over when I arrived, and my dad had whiskey on his breath, I guess.
I remember when I was growing up, the story was always, you know, the mental picture was, you know, the dad down in the waiting room pacing and pacing and pacing until the doctor finally came out.
Right.
You know,
I was there for both of my kids coming right out of the chute. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
As I was, yeah.
I mean, when my son came out, you know, and I saw that he was a son, it was just I was just overjoyed. I mean, I had my boy. My firstborn was a boy. Obviously would have loved it either way. But as a guy, I'm going to be honest, seeing the boy come out was awesome. And then when we were pregnant, my wife was pregnant with our daughter, it was weird because it was like I was more excited during the first pregnancy, becoming a first-time father, and I was like, this isn't right. I was questioning myself, like, why am I not as excited? the moment that my daughter came out, it was a whole different sense. And I've already had this conversation with her. It was a whole sense of, here's my bag of diamonds, get away. She is my little jewel.
Yeah.
And it was a whole different experience. It was a whole different sense of love. I had my boy. But then I had my little angel, too.
Yeah.
And I love them the same, but two entirely different ways. Yeah. And I'm proud to say that I was there for both of them. And speechless. That you cannot question God if you're standing there watching life being born.
Yeah. No question.
I don't know how you can do that. But since we're just talking about the UPenn swimmer and staying on sports, UFC star Patty Pimbolt has challenged Mark Zuckerberg to a fight, calling him a bully over censorship and asserting that he'd like to punch his head in. He issued the challenge after defeating Rodrigo Vargas on Saturday night. Quote, "I'm sick of you shutting my Instagram account down when all I do is help charities and help people with mental health problems. You're the biggest bully in the world. The hypocritical nature of Instagram and Facebook is just disgusting, and what they get away with. Quote, it kills me. Mark Zuckerberg's a lizard. I've got to be a lot smarter on my social media because, I've lost 2 accounts already. They took me off, and the second account had 120,000 followers.
They are bullies. There's no question. I felt that for a long time. Well, I've got a brutal new poll that reveals 5-alarm fire for the Dems.
Google didn't take this poll down?
Not yet. The GOP is gaining significantly among black Hispanic voters. A poll of 1,500 registered voters showed that a majority of voters, 57%, disapprove of Joe Biden's job performance, while 63% of registered voters believe the country is headed in the wrong direction, and 65% of voters believe the economy is headed in the wrong direction. These are horrible numbers for the Democrat Party, which exercises the most political control in Washington. The sentiments also underscore the uphill battle Democrats face if they want to retain the control after the 2022 midterm elections. And for me, it's just common sense. With their destruction of America, the only way they're going to win anything is by using the same actions that they took in 2020. And we all know what those actions were.
I mean, is there anybody? I would love to hear from somebody saying, yeah, man, Joe's my man. The dude's got it going on, man. He walks up to that podium with authority. He ain't shuffling like every old man you see at every old folks home ever.
It's the walk, man.
Yeah.
His walk.
Come on, man. The thing. Where are you? Can they call us? Is this phone bank working yet?
It's close.
It's close. Okay, drop us an email, freedomringshow@gmail.com, and give us your list of all the stellar things that you're a fan that the Biden administration has done. We won't come at you. We're just going to read the list. I want to know if this person exists, because I don't even buy the results of that study with the numbers.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know anyone that's like, Joe's the dude, man. He's got us humming. I love paying more at the pump, dude.
It's like Afghanistan.
I love not being able to afford to take my family out to dinner on Friday. That's awesome. My future earnings uncertain. Oh, it's what I dream of.
Who wants certainty?
Right. Global terrorism? Yes. Who is this cat? Because in the meantime, I see all these Trump rallies that, again, don't go covered, but they've got all the networks there. They're all there. They're all recording it. But nothing.
But you don't see it.
Yeah, I talked to people that I know. Did you see? Because Newsmax will air Trump rallies. They're usually on Saturday nights at about 8 o'clock when they happen, and he's done 3 in the last month, and I think between 65 and 80,000 at each.
Yeah.
Biden can't fill this room.
No. Well, we got a chair here for him, though.
Right. He can even sit. Oh, man. Oh. If you are a fan, please just let yourself be known. I don't think anyone exists that is.
I put the
Opening the borders? Great move!
Yeah, let him in, baby.
Yeah! Fentanyl? Love it!
Another plane of illegals. Bring them in.
Right? I like how you throw that DJ voice into it. Yeah!
Yeah, baby. Come on, baby.
Coming at you with a bunch of illegals.
Yeah. Make my day.
Right. Taxes through the roof? More of it!
Yeah, bring it on.
I need a nap. That's all I got today.
And that's all I've got. We're Freedom Ring Show, and we're at freedomringshow.com. You can find us also ClassXradio.com. We embed the video, so if you're looking for an easy way to just check out the video every day, go to one of those two websites. We're on Rumble.
Push this out for everybody to see.
Yeah, let folks know.
Let everybody in your social platform push it out.
And please, when you're viewing, hit that subscribe button. Very important to us because we do need to monetize at some point so we can eat, like buy the food that we got the fuel for our bodies. But we are on Bitchute now, too. We've added Bitchute, so you can search the Freedom Ring there. We are on Facebook. Now, I know, don't come down on us. There's still a lot of the normies that use Facebook, and that's who we're trying to get the word out to, the normies, so they're exposed to some of what's really going on. So you can like us at the Freedom Ring on Facebook, and any emails, freedomringshow@gmail.com.
Today is National Common Courtesy Day. Just be cool to each other, all right? Treat each other with respect, and let's get this nation back to God. I think the masses are already there. I think the masses are just quiet. The normal thinking people.
They're observing, trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, they're all cordial people. They're not loudmouths and off the hinges and having mental breakdowns in the middle of intersections going, Biden is the man! They're not doing
some
that.
of them are.
They're not doing that. I believe that we are, for the most part, the masses are on the right track and have God in their lives. And again, you don't have to be a holy roller and a Bible thumper. Just doing the right thing for the right reason and being a good person. And that's why we're doing this. That's all I got.
That's all we got. Thank you for tuning in, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Have a great day.